I am so happy to be back at home in my kitchen. I have been traveling for like the past 7 days. I did this really incredible girls trip to the East Coast, and I'm like, I just want to be in my kitchen cooking today, talking to you guys and hanging out. So today I'm going to teach you guys how to make this crazy simple yellow cake recipe. It's a basic boxed yellow cake recipe with a little razzle dazzle, right? So I have some mixed berries and some brown sugar and butter, and we're going to create basically an upside down brown sugar mixed berry cake. Let's get started. I wasn't lying to you guys when I said this recipe is super easy. So I'm using 16 ounces of yellow cake mix. But first, I'm gonna mix together the wet ingredients. So I have 1 stick of butter that I've already melted, and I'm just gonna whisk in 2 eggs. Make sure your butter is cooled down, or else as soon as you put in those eggs, they're gonna start cooking. And I'm just gonna whisk them together until the eggs are nice and broken up. The yolk is mixed in with the butter, and then I'm gonna pour in the cake mix. In the meantime, can we just talk a little bit about like growth in this new year? Because honestly, I woke up this morning and I felt, I don't know, I didn't feel that like new year, new me energy that a lot of people feel during the month of January when we start off a new year. I felt more like, honestly, I felt like I wasn't doing enough. I felt like there may have been parts of 2023 when I took time out to rest and relax, and in hindsight, I'm like, should I have done more? I woke up feeling like if 2024 isn't my year, the year where I accomplish all these great things that I've been working on, that I'm somehow gonna disappoint myself and my family and friends. And it sounds crazy to say because I know how much my friends and family love me and care about me and support me, but I put this pressure on myself to do all of these things. And sometimes I just wonder, if I'm doing good enough. And as I'm saying this, I just realized I forgot to add in the milk. So if you're following along with me, 1 cup of milk, you guys. I'm using oat milk because dairy sometimes is just a little too much on my stomach. I was wondering why this mixture was like extra thick right now. Anyway, back to disappointments, right? So this morning, I thought about journaling because that's normally what I do when I'm not feeling like my best self. But instead, I just kind of took some time out to myself to meditate and reflect, and it comes down to just realizing that it's all in my head, right? The people in my life that love me and care about me are gonna support me and champion for me no matter what. And yes, in order to meet all of my goals, I have to make responsible choices and decisions that aren't necessarily fear-based, they're just more realistic. And I think that's something that I'm still struggling with. It's really figuring out the difference between fear-based decisions and decisions that are just responsible choices that are based on my capabilities, things that I can look around and say, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can accomplish that, versus that fear. For some reason, I just have this lingering fear of disappointing people and not being good enough. And I know that resides inside of myself. I know that's something that I have to continue to work on, and therapy has helped a lot with that. Books definitely help me with that. And surprisingly, travel helps me with that. When I travel, I get outside of my comfort zone, I meet new people, I go to new places, I try new things, and that's something you can't do when you carry around fear with you all the time. It just feels good to be in new spaces and new places and to meet new people. And I think that's probably why I woke up this morning after getting back from traveling on the East Coast, feeling that feeling of I'm not doing enough, I need to do more, I need to do better. And so I say all this to say, I know I'm not alone, right? That's why you guys tune in. That's why you follow along. It's more than just these delicious recipes. By the way, that cake batter is definitely ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and sit it to the side and work on the topping that goes with it. Crazy simple, just 1 cup of brown sugar packed. Also 1 whole stick, of butter melted. This one, you don't really have to let it cool down. Honestly, if it's still a little warm, it's just gonna help the brown sugar melt faster. and just whisk it all together until the sugar has started to melt. So yeah, as I was saying, with the whole fear and the doubt and the not doing enough, a good part of that also comes from me setting up all of these really, really high expectations for myself. One of my good friends always says to me, whenever I'm like doubting myself or questioning myself, she says, based on whose standards? Like, who set that rule? Who's the person that you said you have to do it this way in that amount of time? And every time she asks that question, I just laugh and I'm like, me. She's like, yeah, so if you made the rule, then you can change the rule, Jessica. You don't have to put pressure on yourself to be everything for everyone. And then at the same time, try to accomplish your own dreams. It's okay to take time to yourself. It's okay to change up your timelines, and it's okay to supplement. If you're trying to get this one project off the ground and you know it's going to take some time, it's okay to supplement and work on something else at the same time. You're not doing too much. You're creating this healthy balancing act. And sometimes, you guys, in those moments, I'm like, thank God I have friends in my life, right, who are elevating and growing with me, who can give me this sound and concrete advice. If your brown sugar and butter is still a little lumpy, don't worry about it. As soon as you put it inside the oven, the sugar is going to continue melting, and it's going to create this beautiful glazed topping. Make sure you grease your pan before you put it in there, or else you're not going to be able to flip this out. It's going to stick to the bottom. I'm using a 9 by 13 inch pan, and I'm just going to spread the brown sugar mixture all over the bottom of the pan. Once you have that brown sugar and butter pretty much smooth all the way across the bottom of your pan, go ahead and add in your frozen mixed berries. Do them by hand, that way you can make sure they're spread out evenly. You don't want big lumps of berries, or else when you try to flip the cake, it's gonna get a little funky. So just take your time, spread them out. Also, that allows you to make sure that you're getting even distribution of flavors, right? So mine is a mixture of blackberries, cherries, blueberries, and raspberries. And I wanna make sure that everything is evenly spread out. I don't have any sections that have like a ton of strawberries with very little blueberries. I want to make sure every bite is still an adventure, but at the same time, you get to taste all of the flavors, because that's the whole point of doing a mixed berry topping. This looks absolutely stunning. Last step, told you guys this is gonna be quick, easy, and simple. We're just pouring in the batter, making sure that it goes on top nice and evenly. That way your cake bakes evenly. We're also gonna give it a shake just to make sure we can distribute everything really well. Take your time, make sure you get all your corners and edges, and just make sure, like I said, everything is nice and even. No blueberries poking out. Make sure your top is nice and smooth before you put it inside the oven. I love when my cakes have gorgeous swirls throughout them. This cake is gonna be beautiful. Pop it in the oven, 350 degrees for, let's start with about 25 minutes. It's been about 43 minutes. I know, that was very specific. I can tell that it's ready without even putting a toothpick in it. The top is nice and solid. It's not jiggly, it's browned. Remember, this is going to be the bottom of our cake. So if it's a little brown, don't freak out. You want to see to make sure all of the fruit is bubbling. Now it's time to take it out the oven and let it cool for about 15 minutes before we invert it, slice into it, and enjoy it. This smells absolutely divine. And as it was baking, I was like, Jessica, what is the moral of today's story? When you love yourself, truly, sincerely, wholeheartedly love yourself, you can't disappoint yourself. Same is true for your family and friends. If the people around you love you, support you, respect you, even if you have your hopes and dreams set on one thing and you pivot to the next, no one cares, you guys. No one cares. We have to stop being so hard on ourselves. We have to allow ourselves to pivot and to change and to try new things. And just because we set a goal and didn't necessarily reach it the way we thought we were supposed to reach it, it doesn't mean that we failed. It just means that we are allowing the universe to offer us new opportunities and experiences and ways of being. So yeah, we're gonna let this cool for about 15 minutes and then we'll slice into it and enjoy some mixed berry upside down yellow cake. Okay, so even though I've done this so many times, this part always makes me so nervous because it's like, if you've done it wrong, you have ruined the whole cake. But we did it right. Look at that. Gorgeous brown sugar berries on top. You can see the yellow cake at the bottom. This is exactly how we wanted this cake to come out. I cannot wait to slice it and serve it with some vanilla ice cream.